So what's going on, guys? DIY Dan here again, and this is another mechanical video. In this video, I'm going to be changing out the Serpentine belt and the idler pulley and tensioner on a 2010 Mercury Grand Marquis with the 4.6 liter V8 engine. This engine is also used in the Ford Crown Victoria, the Ford Mustang, F-Series pickups, and I'm sure some other models that are in the Ford Lincoln Mercury category. So even if you don't have this specific vehicle, this video might still help you out. I replaced all three of these items in about 15 minutes, and that was including making footage for this video that you're seeing. So it is a very quick and easy fix. Furthermore, it is part of preventative maintenance, and it's really not that expensive of a fix to do either. I got all three of these parts for just over $100 in town day of I was doing this project. However, we are Amazon affiliates, and I will put the links to those products individually that I found on Amazon along with a kit that has all three in my description if you want to check those out and get them coming. Now let's get to it. So my mom had actually gone and gotten herself an oil change done on her vehicle, and they actually mentioned that the belt was needing replaced. So she brought it over to me so I could take a look at it, and as you can see, there is some cracks in this belt and it was needing replaced. Then I recommended to her, since we were going to have the belt off, that it was a good idea, if she hadn't done the tensioner or that idler pulley yet, that it was a good idea to do, because those bearings do tend to go out on those things. So you go and put a new belt on, and then 6 months later you lose that belt because the bearing in the tensioner or that idler pulley goes out. So obviously the first thing you need to do in order to replace these parts is remove the belt. However, before you do that, you need to make sure you have something that's telling you how this serpentine belt goes back on before you pull it off. This isn't like the old days where individual belts are for each item. The serpentine belt goes around several different items. It is a one belt system, and it can get a little confusing if you don't have a diagram to put it back on. Usually under the hood of the newer vehicles that use a serpentine belt, there is a little sticker that has a diagram of how that belt goes on the engine. However, if there's not, just draw yourself a diagram or take a video of how this goes. You can also obviously use this video for a reference as well. So right here, I'd actually started removing the belt, then realized I did not have that diagram, so I stopped and was running through how it was going over the different pulleys on this video that I'm taking. Now this might sound stupid to you, however, back in the day, one of the guys that was working for me actually managed to get the belt on incorrectly, but it still had tension from the tensioner. He was spinning the water pump the wrong direction because of the way he routed that belt. That vehicle actually left the shop and then came back within a half an hour because that engine had overheated. So now that I've gone through my little spiel of how critical that is, I'm using a 3/8 ratchet, and that will go directly into the tensioner. Then you're going to go ahead and put pressure on that tensioner clockwise to give you slack in that belt, and the easiest place to remove it off of this engine is just lift it up and off the alternator. Once you've gotten it up and off the alternator, that belt has plenty of slack, so you can go ahead and let the tension off of that tensioner and it back to its relaxed position. You'll notice the ratchet was sitting at about 1 o'clock when I started going clockwise to relieve the tension. I had to go to about 3 o'clock to get that belt off, and then that ratchet went back to about 11:30 to actually get full slack in that tensioner so I could take the ratchet back off. My point to this is make sure you have enough rotation to fully get the tension off of that and get that tensioner to the relaxed position so you can actually remove your ratchet. Another quick story, I was actually doing a belt and I don't even remember what it was on, but I did not pay attention to this. And I had enough clockwise rotation to get the belt off. However, I did not give myself enough room counterclockwise, and I could not fully relieve the tension off of that spring so I could remove the ratchet. So I was basically stuck there holding the ratchet. I had to get a coworker to come help me get the belt back on and then take it at a different angle so I could get that slack in order to remove that ratchet. Once you've got the ratchet out of that tensioner, then you can go ahead and just pull the belt the rest of the way off of all those pulleys and remove it from the engine compartment. One thing I did forget to get a video of, guys, is anytime you have your belt off, it's a good idea to spin all of your pulleys that you're not planning on replacing, like your water pump, your alternator, your AC compressor, and make sure those all spin freely with no growling or squealing. If you do hear any of that, or it just doesn't feel right, that could be a sign that those items are going out as well. Once the belt was out of the way, I went ahead and used a 13mm socket on my ratchet in order to break loose the bolt that was actually holding that idler pulley to the engine. Once breaking it free, I did switch over to my little battery ratchet to fully remove that bolt from the engine. Once you have fully unthreaded the bolt, there is going to be a washer attached to that, and it should not fall off, but just keep an eye on it. Then you can go ahead and pull that pulley directly off of the engine. Take note of the orientation of this pulley so you make sure you put the new one on correctly going back together. So right here you can see I was spinning the bearing in that pulley and it still felt all right, but it was still time to do it and it just wasn't that expensive to do. I got my new pulley that I got, put them side by side, made sure the outer diameter was the same, made sure the inner diameter of the bearing was the same, then went ahead and put the new idler pulley back on the engine. There's going to be a little raised nub that fits perfectly on that bearing to the engine. Then grabbed my battery ratchet and snugged that bolt down for the most part, and then switched over to my regular ratchet to give it a final tightening. Now in all the idler pulleys I've ever done, I've never actually gone to the torque spec, but from what I found doing a little bit of research, it's right around 18 to 22 foot-pounds, if you do want to go that route. Once tightening it down, I gave it a little spin to make sure it felt good and was nice and smooth, and then went ahead and started removing the bolt holding the tensioner in place. The bolt that was holding the actual tensioner in place on this specific engine was using a 10mm socket in order to remove it. So once again, I broke it free with my ratchet, switched over to my battery operated ratchet, and finished removing that bolt. Then pulled that tensioner up and out of the engine compartment. Grabbed the new tensioner, once again, put them side by side, made sure everything looked identical as far as the pulley size, the way the bracketry was. This tensioner has a raised nipple in order to orientate it correctly on the engine, and made sure that was in the exact same location. Once verifying everything was identical, I went ahead and took the bolt out of the old one and put it on the new one so I could install it back on the engine. There is a female taper on the tensioner and there is a male taper on the engine block. There is also a hole in the engine that you need to make sure you line up that nipple that's on the tensioner correctly, so it is timed accordingly. Once lining those up correctly and starting the bolt by hand, I grabbed my battery ratchet in order to snug that bolt down, then once again switched over to my regular ratchet to do the final tightening on it. Now once again, I've never used a torque wrench to tighten these down in the years I've done them. However, if you do want to do that, I found the basic general torque spec is right around 25 foot-pounds for this bolt. However, if this bolt is a lot bigger than the one on the idler, depending on the model of the vehicle and the engine, it can be up to 41 foot-pounds of torque for those applications. When I'm doing projects like this, I tend to really pay attention to when I'm breaking something free and pay attention to how much effort it actually took to do that, and then try to duplicate that for the most part going back together. And I've never really had any comebacks as far as anything coming loose as far as this goes. Once the idler and the tensioner were tightened down, it's time to go ahead and put the belt back on, and using that diagram, I went ahead and did that. And then for editing purposes, I did draw out a little nicer one to give you guys it for reference as well. Now when you're routing this belt, make sure the groove side is on all the groove pulleys and the flat side is on all the smooth pulleys, because I have seen people do that as well. Route it just like it is on the diagram. Once I had everything routed except for back up and over the alternator, I grabbed my 3/8 ratchet. I did put a small extension on it this time because I figured it'd make it a little easier. Put it in there at that 11:30 location, then clocked it to about 3 o'clock, lifted that belt up and over the alternator. Before releasing that tensioner, make sure all the grooves in the belt are lined up correctly with all the grooves in the pulleys on the engine, and then make sure that the smooth pulleys, the belt is pretty centered in those as well, or where it was before you took it apart. Once that was done, I just removed all my tools from the engine compartment and had my mom fire this engine up. Let it run for a couple seconds, made sure everything looked correct, then shut it down one more time and took one final look to make sure everything looked correct from the front, and then took a side profile look as well to make sure everything was lined up, and called it good. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video and it gave you some good information. If so, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. I'd really appreciate it. The whole concept of my channel is to give you guys the most information in the least amount of time as possible so I don't waste your time. And I hope to see you next time. Have a good one. Later.